Hey guys, and welcome to Day by Day Podcast. I'm your girl T. Nice to meet you. If you are new, thank you for watching. If you've been here before, you know I procrastinate, and I'm sorry for the wait, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. This episode this week or this month is about relationship talk. And before we go into this conversation, I just want to say thank you for joining. If you've been here before, again, thank you for coming back ever so lately. Like if this resonates with you, share if you feel as though someone may need to hear it, and also subscribe to my channel because I will be posting more consistently and getting better with that. So thank you for joining, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
So if you clicked onto this channel, that means that you felt the spirit, and I am a very spiritual person. I do not confine myself to any religion. So if that sounds like you, thank you for joining. I hope this message touches you. I hope it resonates with you. I hope it brings you some clarity. But for my own sake, I lit some crown chakra incense, and that's solely for me. I'm always being my highest vibrational self, but it's always good to have a little bit of support. I am gonna light some Palo Santo, and if you know, you know about the Palo Santo. It sets the tone for the things that you would like to receive, the things that you would like to see in your life, clearing out any negative energy and starting a new space. So with this Palo Santo lit, I'm going to say a few affirmations. I am love. I exude love. I accept love from all aspects of life. And nothing happens to me, but everything happens for me, and life is moving according to God's plan. So, Ashe. The last thing I am going to light in reference to this conversation about relationship talk, I just recently lost a love of mine that was like a homie, love, a friend. Um, and that person specifically showed me what unconditional love was. So I'm going to have this white candle lit for the duration of this episode. And this is for you, Ty. I love you.
And this episode is called Real Relationship Talk. And the quote is, be honest, brutally honest. That is what's going to maintain relationships. And that's from Lauryn Hill. Uh, Honesty, sometimes it hurts, but I say rather to receive honesty and be able to pick and choose what you would rather do than to be in the dark about things and not know. So I felt like that was a really deep quote. It may sit lightly for some, it may hit harder for others. But once again, be honest, brutally honest. That is what's going to maintain relationships. And by relationships, it doesn't have to be a spouse relationship or platonic. It can be any kind of relationship, a relationship with your loved ones, a relationship with your friends, a relationship with your children, a relationship with your coworkers, a relationship with your boss, anything of that nature. Being honest and sometimes all the times being yourself will help you be more at peace than you not being your authentic self and confiding to what others would like to see from you rather than, again, you being yourself. Sometimes people, even myself, believe that honesty hurt, but fuck it, because if we can't be honest with our partner, how can we have a healthy, open relationship? Oh, and by being honest, you can root out the people who aren't for you. This is very factual because a lot of us walk around and we aren't quite honest with the things we want, the things we expect, the things that happens around us. Sometimes we like to just avoid drama or avoid conflict because we think it'll just resolve itself. But honestly, it's just like a lie. When someone lies and it starts off as that one little lie, and then eventually, in order to keep up with the story, you have to keep up with the lie. So it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. That's just like being honest with your partner. If you have a partner and you know for a fact that you love to receive flowers and you just, I don't know, you feel like you can't tell your partner, hey, love languages. This is my love language, acts of service. And they don't understand it because their love language may be physical touch. So you feel as though it's okay if they don't buy me flowers. I know they still love me because, they give me hugs or they kiss me on the forehead. We have to understand that in order to serve ourselves, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to do the things, sometimes do things that are better for us than for the next person. Because once again, if we're not good for ourselves, then we cannot be good for anyone else. So being brutally honest and being yourself will help you find the people that are for you, and it will absolutely help you rid out of the people that are not for you. And I can speak personally in my life and say that when I say I have encountered so many karmic relationships and situations, again, not even in a loving sense, like relationship, spouse sense, just relationships in general, where I gave so much of myself to other people instead of giving it to myself, later to realize that fucked me up. Okay. It messed me up. I took about 4 years to myself, went to therapy, journaled, learned yoga, started taking care of my body, learning what I like and don't like. So when that time comes, when that person comes into my life, or when I'm faced with certain situations, I now know how to handle them because I took the time out to learn myself so I can be better for myself and the people I choose to exert my energy to. An example that I wrote down was I had a previous relationship where I stated before agreeing to be in the relationship that we, as myself and my children, uh, were moving soon. And the person still agreed to be in a relationship and it went left. The man one day said to me he couldn't afford to take care of me. And when I tell y'all, that was a big ass realization that we should ask more questions and get a better and clear understanding. Because once again, when you are faced with a situation where someone comes into your life, or you're meeting someone, or you or the next person or each other may be infatuated with each other, you are so gung ho on just the physical being or what the person can do for you or how that person may make you feel, but we're not understanding and learning the characteristics of that person. We don't know the background of that person. We don't know where that person's come from. And I can say from experiencing my friend who transitioned, uh, being around his family after his death, I wasn't really around them, while he was alive. But being around them after his death showed me why his love was absolutely unconditional. It's because that's how he was raised. That's what he grew up around. That was shown to him in order for him to show it to others. And sometimes we are, again, gung ho on, oh, he buying this, or oh, she cooking this, or oh, she taking me there, or oh, he taking me there. Those things will diminish. You can be in a relationship with someone for a year, 2 years, 6 months, 10 months, and the spark that you had in the beginning is no longer there because you are learning that person. And a better example of learning a person is living with someone. You never know a person's true colors until you live with them. And that, again, I have experienced firsthand. All of these experiences that I will speak to you about in this podcast, the next one, and the 1 year from a year from here are all based on my personal experience. I'm not one to speak on something that I do not know. So please take what I say to you very heavily, not lightly, but very heavily. Uh, Back to the person telling me that they couldn't take care of myself and my children. And I don't think it was just in a sense of financially, but have you ever been with a person that you click on one level and not on the other? With that person that I was in that relationship with, We clicked on a physical level. But because I did so much spiritual work on myself and I learned myself and what I will stand for and what I will not go for, I learned that our relationship was just more so physical than it was emotional. There was no, when I say no, I mean no. Like the Bugs Bunny when he be like, no. But there was no emotional connection. And that physically drained me because imagine explaining or crying to a person or trying to tell them that, hey, you're just not emotional. Like, I used to tell that man, you like me physically, but you don't like me. And y'all may think it's a joke, but liking someone physically and not liking them mentally is a thing. And you have to understand yourself to understand other people. And another thing I will say is you also have to listen to other people's perspective. Take that firsthand. Take that firsthand. I was the type of person growing up, I was the youngest of five. Well, I am still the youngest of five. But to make a long story short, I was very spoiled. So I felt as though anything that I wanted, I was supposed to receive, not knowing that when you do receive, you are also supposed to give. And I'm not going to lie to y'all and say I'm this perfect person, because no one is perfect. Trust and believe. It don't matter what they rocking, what they wearing. They can have on $5,000 worth of clothes. They could have $5,000 worth of clothes and still be a shitty person. Their characteristics of themselves can still be trashy. They could be going home and not know how to cook a meal, but they know how to get dressed. So, like, you really have to pick your poison. Pick your poison wisely, especially if it's like a love relationship, someone you can see yourself building with. Do not give away your energy and your time to someone that you know is temporary. Being toxic is temporary because eventually you're going to get tired. And once again, I'm speaking from experience. You do not want to waste your precious time. You hear me? Life has ups and downs, and I call it a roller coaster. But when I tell you time, they say time is an illusion, but we don't know how much time we have here. So please be mindful of the things you choose to give your time and energy to, because it's truly important in your growth. And everybody grows at a different point in life. Nobody, and I mean nobody, can tell you, hey, I'm here, you should be here too. I used to be that person to be like, oh, well, I'm doing this and I want my friends to do this. And that's just the Virgo in me. Because if you around me, ain't no way we slacking. Ain't no way we lacking. We may have our shit with us, but we always on our shit also. So I had to learn that that was control. And I had to let go of that. But again, with relationships, sometimes you can only control yourself. So make the better choices for you so that in order for you to be better and in order for you to choose better, you are taking your time. There's no need to rush, especially when you don't even look for your person. I promise you, your person comes to you. When you out doing you and being you and living your most valuable, highest life that you could possibly live, all things good for you is going to come to you. You don't have to work hard for the things that belong to you. You don't have to work hard for the blessings that God is going to give to you. God simply puts us through trials and tribulations. And hold up, wait, before I finish that, I just want to say that not all the choices that you make is based on what God has in store for you. Because sometimes we base a lot of things off of our ego and not off of listening to our intuition and hearing what God has to say to us in order for us to thrive and move to bigger and better places. So definitely take heed to that part. A quote that I have is fall in love with someone who makes you glad to be different. And I'm going to butcher this lady's name, but her name is Sue Zhao. Again, the quote is, fall in love with someone who makes you glad to be different. Because this world is so effed up. I'm working on my cussing. I know I done cussed a lot in this video, but the world is so messed up, yo. It's so messed up. Social media got people living these fairy tale bougie lives. They need a reality show. Men being braggadocious about materialistic things that does not matter. You got people out here broken from childhood that just keep jumping from relationship to relationship simply because they don't want to heal or they don't know that they have to heal. But then you have the people who are raised off of survival, and then you have the people that are raised off of love. I was raised off of survival, and I had to learn to be love because that's not what I was taught. That's not what I seen. That was not in my life. It took for my adulthood to start telling my siblings. Again, I'm the youngest. It took for me to get to my adulthood to start saying I love you to my siblings. Uh, Even to say it to my mother. Like, and I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but that will most definitely shape your adulthood when you don't understand love. Because when it does come your way, you're going to shun it. You're not going to understand it. And love is supposed to be unconditional. But I was raised to love with conditions. So having to unlearn and relearn is the reason why I make my podcast, is the reason why I started my business, is because I want to help people at all ages and all aspects of life. I'm 28. There could be somebody who's 14. There could be somebody who's 16, 21, 22, 40, 65, 52. It doesn't matter. The simple fact that we are called to heal at some point in our lives is the reason why I'm here. Because we all make a difference. All of our journeys are going to be different. We all are different. We all have gifts. That's why I don't understand the concept of celebrities, but that's neither here nor there because God gives everybody a gift. Sometimes people have multiple gifts. Like, so we're all different in a sort of way, but there's going to be that one person, or it may be sometimes we can experience more than one soulmate in this lifetime. And I know that sounds crazy, but you have to understand how many years you're on this earth. When you find that person, you may lose that person. That person may move away. Anything can happen. So we do have more than one soulmate on this earth. But to find that person that is truly for you, that loves you beyond limits, that'll go to the end of the earth, that'll cross oceans for you, that person is there. And they're going to find you. Again, you don't have to find them. They're going to find you. They're going to gravitate to you. But always remember to be your authentic self. Be your most vibrational, highest self. Know you, you're good and you're bad. Because I promise you, this little sweet voice, there's a dark side to me too. And I'm not saying that, oh, it's all love and light and spirituality, because baby, I promise you, it get dark. But understanding your dark and your light and being yourself and understanding yourself will alleviate so much stress. You wouldn't believe it. So be different. Be yourself. Because I love being myself. You see me? Just yesterday, I cut my hair back off. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, you know how many people, uh, I can't even get the words out. You know how many people will be like, I could never cut my hair. I could never. Baby, if it's for you, it'll grow back. If it ain't, don't do it. It ain't for everybody. But again, this is me being myself. And I love it here. So, our topic discussion, I wrote a few pointers down. And I'm just going to go through them really quickly. The first one is, what are the up and downsides to being in a relationship? The good and the bad. It may start off really, really good. You're in fairy tale land, everything's happening. That's the person that you wish for, you manifested, da 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 da. But there's also a downside. There are going to be times where you do not agree with each other. There's going to be times where you want to do something that the other person doesn't. There's going to be disagreements and hopefully not arguments and things like that. But it'd be little things sometimes. Like it could be a car situation, it could be a finance situation. Those are the ups and downs to be in a relationship. And there are more. Uh, what advice could you give to help a struggling relationship? Communication. Sit down, talk about your problems. If you don't feel comfortable enough to just talk first, get you a journal. Write down how you feel. Write down your pros and cons as to the good and bad in a relationship and how that relationship plays a part in your life. And communicate that to your partner so that your partner understands, because your partner can't help you if they don't know what you're going through. What some activities, rituals, outings do you have or do to bring you closer to your partner? It can be something small. We're all in a world where financially, right now, 2024, life is lifing. Life is lifing, and it's lifing for everybody. Unless you a rich mother effer, unless you done built this multi-million-dollar business, middle class is low class, and I don't care what anybody has to say. Everything has went up except the amount of money that they are paying people to do the things that we do. So again, if you can't afford to do something expensive, go to the dollar store. Get canvases, get some paint, get some brushes, get a bottle of wine, sit at the table, spend some time together, put on some music, create a playlist that you both like. Or if you can afford to do something, um, if your partner is a baker, sit in the kitchen while they bake. If your partner is a writer, say, damn, babe, let me proofread, read your stuff. Let me see how it's going. Let me see, what you're doing. If your partner sells cars, learn the ins and out about MSRPs. Like, learn about your partner so that way they feel love. They see that you care about them. They understand that you are trying to understand them. Um, how do you show up for your significant other? Examples: love language, filling up the tank. That's a good one. Pamper day, sneaker drop, weekly or monthly dates, and big business, creating business together. If your partner is a sneaker fanatic, knowing when the drops come, so that way you can be like, "Ooh, babe, look what I got you." Ooh. Love languages, knowing that your person love language is act of service and you out here wanting to give out hugs. No, ask them what their love language is. Take a test. It's free. Google the internet. You already pay for phone service. You already paying for Wi-Fi. Google love language quiz. And that will help you understand. And it also gives description as to what love language actually means, what the physical touch love language means, what the acts of service love language means, what does the Lord, I'm drawing a blank on what the rest of them is, but you get it. Look it up. um, how do you healthily tell or bring up something important to your partner? Like I stated before, if you are not fond of just communicating so openly in the beginning, write it down, pros and cons, but you have to sit down with your partner. Again, no one can understand you if you do not communicate. You have to communicate. That's only going to help your relationships thrive. um, for the confused folk who may be in an unhealthy situation, what advice do you give? Talk to God. Talk to God. Because everybody on this earth, if you in a domestic situation and you go and tell somebody that you love you in a domestic situation, the first thing they're gonna tell you is, you need to leave. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to leave, but they don't know the extent of the person that you may be dealing with. This person may be really verbal, and if you decide that you want to leave, all hell may break loose. So you have to truly talk to God and ask him for guidance and wisdom in which direction in which you should go, how you should handle the situation, and pray for deliverance for yourself. Or if you have children, pray for deliverance for your children, or however you want to do it. And find somebody to confide in, someone that's not going to pass judgment, but also have that listening ear for you, so you know that they are there. um, how do you get through hard times? going through it, because you got to go through it to get through it. I can't sugarcoat it. Ain't no sugarcoating. It's not always going to be a good time. That is not. But always keeping your faith in the Most High, always keeping your hopes up high, seeing the good or the better in a situation. It's a perspective shift. And that I learned as an adult. Shift your perspective. It's raining outside, baby. I don't know. Go outside, jump in the puddle. Don't be like, oh, it's raining. I don't want to go outside. You go get in the shower. What's the difference? It's water. Like, you just have to perspective shift. Like, put your rain boots on. Get an umbrella. Go outside. Play in the, like, you just have to change your mindset on how you look at things. A perspective shift will definitely help you uh, change the things in your life that you don't necessarily agree with. And sometimes we can't change our physical being of it, so we have to change our mental being of it. What does a healthy, loving relationship look like to you? Also, unhealthy. For you, you be the judge of that. A healthy, loving relationship is a relationship that communicates through good and bad, that shows up for each other in all situations. Unhealthy is toxicity. That's it in a nutshell. If you're dealing with somebody who verbally abuses you, if you're dealing with somebody that you know you can't trust because they've been sneaky, if you're dealing with somebody who you have to question, if you're dealing with somebody who doesn't show and tell you that they appreciate you even through all that you do for them, then that sounds unhealthy. Yeah, that sounds unhealthy. So work on that. Cause talking make me a little bit thirsty. I ain't gonna hold you. But this part of the episode is called A Better Understanding. So this is gonna be me just giving you a little bit of insight about my personal life and experiences. And hopefully me explaining some of the things that I went through and experienced will help you avoid these situations, help you see the situations when they come up and not have to go through them. Um, yeah, so again, a better understanding. The first one is a relationship you gave up on. A relationship that I gave up on was a relationship with my children's father. I gave up on that relationship because I met that man at a young age and I thought I was mentally and emotionally mature, but I wasn't. I, and again, this is me taking accountability for me. I completely gave up on the idea of who I wanted to be, what I wanted to be, and how I was going to choose to live my life. Because within a short time of knowing that man, I ended up impregnated. I had my daughter at 19. And once I had my daughter, a year later, a little bit under a year later, I ended up getting pregnant again. And then I had my son. Uh, so I completely gave up on the aspect of finding out who I was, what I wanted to be in life, what God called me to be, and I succumbed to the idea of what He wanted, which was a family. Um, Not saying that it was all bad, but later realizing being with Him for so many years was that the things that I was looking for and expected in a man, he was not all of what I needed. Um, we connected through a trauma bond. I'm not going to state exactly what that trauma bond was, but we connected through a trauma bond and that kept our relationship going. And we thought it was healthy, but in all actuality, it was pretty unhealthy. And due to, other situations like financially and things like that, I was not happy. And I said to myself, if I'm going to do bad with somebody else, I might as well do bad by myself. So I cried and prayed to God to please remove me from that situation, and that He did. And I've been thriving on my own ever since. So that was a relationship that I gave up on. A relationship you should have let go way before you did. All right, now this one's a little bit heavy. I am going to do a podcast episode on DV. For anybody who does not know what DV is, it is domestic violence. Um, but that was a relationship that I should have let go way before I did. And this, I'm going to speak on toxicity. So, one, I felt like as an adult, this was definitely a grooming technique that this person was doing, simply because I feel like when a person is not where they should be at the age that they are, they typically try and go for younger people because they're easily to mold and manipulate. And again, me thinking that I was mentally mature, I didn't see it as such a problem back then. But now, as an adult, I realize that yes, that was very much grooming. And to make a long story short, I was in a relationship for about a year and a half with. I was a teenager, and the man was a man. And yeah, I'm not saying that I was being physically beat all the time. It only happened twice, but uh, from that situation, I tried to leave so many times beforehand. But again, when you're in a toxic situation and when you are that person that brings that other person peace and you choose to want to leave, sometimes just saying I'm leaving is not going to get you out that door. I literally was physically beat outside. Nobody stopped to help. The man was a husky busky, and I'm just this teenage girl that's just like going through motherfucking DV. So end up getting a restraining order on that man. Still see that man to this day, but yeah, no. Uh, it's not a communication type thing. It's just like you keep your distance, I keep mine when we are in the vicinity or close to, each other. Um, that was something I should have let go of before I did, because when you spot somebody doing something that you do not like and you speak on it, the first thing, and I promise you, they say it in movies like it's not a real thing, but the motherfucker is going to say, I'll never do it again. I'll never do it again. And as much as you just want to walk away, sometimes you don't. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't. I'm not saying that it didn't hurt me to be like, wow, I can't believe you didn't do this. That it did, but I didn't walk away immediately. I chose to stay, and then after that, I'm like, I can't do it. And then again, I didn't have the option to leave because the person always threatened to unalive themselves, or like, it was wild. So for anybody who thinks toxicity is fun, I'm the advocate to say no. It's absolutely retarded. It's not the thing to do. It's not fun because that person gets your adrenaline pumping. Go ride a roller coaster. Go play a VR game. I don't know. Go do something else that'll scare the hell out of you. But being in a toxic relationship or being around someone who gives off toxic energy is going to drain you, unalive you, or put you in a place in which you do not want to be physically, mentally, or emotionally. Take this from someone who has experienced it. That's that. And a relationship you appreciated but wasn't for you. Um, a relationship I appreciated that wasn't for me was an ex who uh, he was a jack of all trades but a master of none. He taught me a lot. I gained a lot of wisdom on different things. He was the type of person that had knowledge about things that your average person wouldn't care about or didn't give as much attention to. Um, but again, this was also the person that liked me physically but didn't like me emotionally. We had no emotional connection. So I appreciate that relationship because it taught me a lot. It showed me a lot. It showed me a lot about myself, but I wasn't supposed to be there for too long, and that I wasn't. Um, so I hope me give you a little bit about my life and some of the things I've experienced help you to grasp and understand some of the things that you may be going through or some of the things that may come up in your life later on down the line that you could be like, wow, T told me that on Day by Day. So I hope that helps you. In Corinthians 16:14 says, let all that you do be done in love. And shout out to Dell. That's funny. But shout out to Dell. And Dell is a clothing brand that was created by someone that I know. And Dell is an acronym for Do Everything in Love, because everything that you do should be done in love. And if it isn't, then it isn't pure. And it's just real simple. You ain't even got to go into depth with that. Do everything in love. When you walk out your door and you see your neighbor that ain't clean up their dog shit, hey, love, could you pick that up for me, please? If you just got paid and you got extra couple dollars and you going through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through, pay for the person behind you. It happens to me all the time. I give. It may be times where I don't even have it to give. I'm gonna give because I know my God is going to return it to me tenfold. I'm not concerned about that. So do everything in love. It's just really simple. And I did write something else, but I put the ending before I put the something else. The something else is P.S. Love languages and zodiac signs are aligned in houses and planets. For example, excuse me, my Venus is in Virgo. If y'all are aligned with the planetary signs, you will know this is why I drive myself crazy. My Venus is in Virgo, so my love language is acts of service. Uh, my love language is becoming a little bit of everything though, but especially acts of service. It feels good to know you're appreciated, and that's for men and women. I love acts of service because I love physically, like I love to cook. I love to bake. That's my business, but I love to cook. That's my way. Like cooking is a way to anyone's soul. You hear me? You cook somebody a good meal. They could be a homeless person. They could be a millionaire. They could be a middle class. They could be whatever. Cooking them a meal is truly going to show them that, oh my gosh, they put their foot in this. Oh yes, you gotta love me. You gotta love me. But that's my love language. But learn your planetary signs. Learn. A lot of people are like, oh, astrology. They just know about oh, like me. I'm born in September. I'm a Virgo, but that's my sun sign. My moon sign is Aries. That's why I don't fuck around. And my rising sign is Scorpio. That's why I carry myself the way I do. But you have to learn these things about you, because not only digging into yourself to learn yourself, when you're learning yourself, you will learn these things. You, again, asking for guidance will get you to the places and spaces in which you need to be. But I feel like I'm just babbling now, and I'm going to let y'all go and dig into a little bit about yourselves on your own. I hope this has brought you so much peace and clarity. Once again, if this is your first time joining us, thank you for tuning in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe. If you feel like it resonated, please leave me a comment. I once went on a date with somebody and he said, don't read the comments, because he's a heavy YouTuber. He said, don't read the comments. When my comments start coming in, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be a little bit too anxious. I'm gonna look at some of them. But I hope, again, this message resonated with someone. And again, tell a friend to tell a friend. Like it if it resonated. Share it to any of your social media platforms if it's on your heart to do so. And also subscribe to my channel, because I will be posting some more good tea and life lessons and tips and tricks real soon. And go back and look at some of my previous episodes. Go look at some of my little short videos to give you excerpts about yoga and, day-to-day living. And I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.